Howdy and welcome back to the road to the Great Canadian Open Winter 2026. My name is Clarence and this is my video series as you follow me as I paint up my Brotherhood Without Banners army 1 hour a day, 1 day at a time. And another hour in and we're still not done our activation banners yet, but we are getting closer and closer. And honestly, this is how it goes. You know, the reality is nothing gets done quickly and you have to just have expectations. I think my problem was I just had no idea how much time it was going to take. I roughly know how long it's going to take a miniature, especially with the Slapchop painting process for my Brotherhood. I knew that it takes roughly 10 hours for a tray. But these activation banners, I had no idea, so I foolishly thought it would be done in a session or two, and here we are 4 or 5 sessions in, and still not done yet. But, you know, for those of you who are painting along as well, that's all you have to do is just chip away at it, and hopefully, you know, eventually over time, those little hours incrementally grow into a complete miniature, and they're going to look great, they're going to look awesome, they're done forever, etc., etc. So grab a brush, grab some contrast paints, and try it yourself as well. The second thing I want to talk about is my tournament. It's coming up soon, folks. Less than 2 months down the road is the Great Canadian Open, and it's going to be a great time with great people. It's going to be 5 games of A Song of Ice and Fire over 2 days, January 10th and 11th at the Small Arms Inspection Building in Mississauga, Ontario, hosted by the TGX. We're very generous to Lionel for letting us take the space at his event. So if you're from around the GTA, or if you're from further out, if you're from Kitchener-Waterloo, London, Windsor, if you're from Kingston, if you're from Ottawa, Gatineau, Montreal, Quebec, if you're from up north, Barrie, North Bay, or further up, or from the States, you are welcome to join and take part in this event as well. Tickets are starting to sell, folks. We're almost done, halfway sold. So do get your tickets before they sell out, before it's too late. We're going to be having a lot of cool prizes. Can't get anywhere else, and it's going to be a great time. So do buy your tickets. The link is in the description box below. With that, let's check out where we are, folks, and where we are going to hopefully finish up soon. And here's where we're picking up, folks. The flames are all done on the blades themselves and on the bases. So today's goal is to do the handles and to do the blades. So the blades, I want to do just a quick edge highlight with silver streaks along the sides. So that's a little more 3D. And for the handles, I was really humming and hawing on the color scheme. Black, as it is right now, is a bit just too dark and too dull. I traditionally do red, and I was going to not do red because I thought the flames would be red. But talking to my girlfriend, she was like, you know what, the flames aren't really red. They're mostly like yellow and orange with a little bit of red on the tips. So I might just try red on one, see how it looks, and we'll see how it, you know, go from there if we like it or not. Once the red handles are done and once the edge of the swords are done, it's then about the bases. And again, I can't really decide until the whole show is finished, so we will do all that first and then decide at the end. So 1 hour work starts now. Let's start with the handles. See you soon. 35 minutes later, we are back after highlighting the edges of silver and after doing the handles a variety of colors. I went with red first, and as it was drying, I was waiting, and I was like, you know what, why don't I just do a sample of each one and see which one I like the most. So here's how they look. I did, I think this is Warboss Green, Dawnstone Gray, Mornfang Brown, Mephiston Red. They're washed with brown, except for the gray that was washed with black, and this is how they came out. So which one do you think looks better? I'm going to actually come in a little bit close. From here, it's a little hard to tell. They are all very neutrally, so it's hard to tell the difference. So I'm going to take this off the back here, and let's take a look at each one at a time. So here is the red, washed with Mephiston Brown. Now, part of me wants to go back and highlight the red a little bit, but I haven't highlighted anything really in this army except for the blades of the swords here, so I don't know if I actually will. I do want to get this project done as well. Here is the Mornfang Brown. I'll take a long-range shot as well. I don't know if I did that for the red. Let's give the red a fair shake. Here's the red at long range. Here is the Dawnstone Gray with the black wash. And here is the Warboss Green with a brown wash. So let me know what you think is best. I will tell you that I have decided, I also talked to my girlfriend about it, and we decided to go with the green, surprisingly. You know, we like the red more. The wash on the green also came on very patchy, and I think I might actually just redo this one and do them all a little bit smoother. But the reason why we think the green looks better is it does contrast with the reds and oranges a bit better, and it doesn't look Christmassy. Christmas colors tend to be more vibrant. This is like a muddier green color, so we think it looks better. So I'm going to redo this green. I do not like how the brown wash settled on it, and we'll come back. So yeah, had to see it to compare. So we'll see if we can get the rest done in 25 minutes. So yeah, 25 minutes ago. See you soon. 35 minutes later, we are done. So we're about 10 minutes over time. But I think it was worth it because we got the handles done and we got all the edging on the sides of the blade done as well. So I did a double coat of Warboss Green on the handles, and then I went back with the Acrex Earthshade and I gave it a wash. Unfortunately, I feel like the wash just didn't settle well on any of the handles, and it's quite streaky and quite patchy. But the only way to fix that really, I think, is to go back and highlight it. And I just don't think I'm going to do that. The whole point of the series is not to spend too much time with the finer details. Base coat wash, Slapchop is kind of the MO. So I think I'm going to just leave it there. As for the bases, after talking it over with my girlfriend, I think black is just fine. I really don't know what other color I would do. Maybe a brown or something like that. But I think the black is perfectly suitable too. So I think we are done. Now, I will admit, I actually went out and got another Neutral Heroes Box 1 just for the Varus. So I was going to say that we're done painting everything, but I'm actually going to come back and paint up one more model, Varus, in my Brotherhood scheme so that everything's going to match. So we're going to stop today's video here. Thank you for watching. Keep the faith. And we have another online TTS battle report for you. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to another TTS Battle Report, and I had the honor today of playing Chris Cullen from Ottawa, and he's actually a YouTuber who has his own fantastic A Song of Ice and Fire YouTube channel called Under the Hedge. He mostly does battle reports, and he's a way better editor than I am, but he's also got some other content, interviews, discussions, and that kind of stuff. He's also the main organizer for Canadian Nationals, which I'm grateful for, and just a great dude overall. And he's also a huge painter and hobbyist and just does great work. Can't recommend the person more highly enough. So we were talking about getting a game together, and we were finally able to make our schedules work out and get a game in. So I was going to try out the new Boltons, who, because they are brand new or just interesting, I wanted to figure out how they play and how they feel. This was also after the updated patch. So when they were released, there were a few typos, and a few things missing. And then not only did they patch them about a week after, they also updated their rules, which I thought was a bit strange. But I guess the general feeling from Michael Chanel, the designer, was that the units that they had previewed were really meant for the next season, and they decided to revert back some of their stats and rules so that they're a little killier. Things are supposed to be less killy next season, and they didn't feel like it was fair to make the less killy versions of the Boltons the current versions in a more killy season, I guess. But that's just me speculating based on what I've heard from the podcast and so on. Anyway, so I was going to run the Boltons again, the new updated Boltons, and Chris is trying out Lannisters. So you can see that we were playing Banners of Butchery. Again, most people don't like the scenario, including Chris and myself. I think it's a bit of a weird scenario, but to me, it's in the official tournament pack, and therefore it should be in the pool of missions you might randomly get. We randomly drew it, so here we are. So for my army, I asked, what he was running. He had, I think, a 7 activation list twice. So I think I said, if you're running 7 activations, I'll run my 7 activation list as well. So over here, we have my Dreadfort Archers with Sarah Allen. New updated Sarah Allen, new updated Archers. Actually, usable, I'd say. We've got Cutthroats with Ramsey, Reek, and Ben Bones. And then down here, we've got Blackguard with Commander Steelshanks. And then over here, we've got Flayed Men with a Glory Seeker. So I'm actually paying a point with the Glory Seeker. My other 4 points go into 2-point Ramsey and Ben Bones, which is 3 points, and Sarah Allen for the 4th point. My NCUs, I'm going to try Tybalt, Roose Bolton, and I think we have Varys. Now, I think Tybalt is really, really, really strong. Even at 5 points before, I thought he was good value. So when they dropped him to 4, I was a little bit surprised. And we'll talk about Tybalt later, I guess. For Chris, he was taking Commander Tywin in crossbows. He was actually preparing to play for an ELO event that they're running in Ottawa, which is really cool. So you're from the Ottawa area. Hopefully this will come out before the event for sure. It's happening, I believe, December 10th-ish. You should definitely go check it out. ELO events are really, really cool, really different, and just get people to play different things. So he's running Commander Tywin in crossbows. He's got Lannister Guardsmen with a Champion of the Faith. He's got Knights with Gregor Clegane on this side over here, and he's got more Knights with a Butcher over here. His NCUs was Joffrey, High Sparrow, and I think Pycelle. I don't remember, but it sounds right to me. Oh, no, I think it was Cersei. It was Cersei, sorry. It's definitely Cersei. And if you notice, every unit here has Lannister Supremacy. Part of the design of this build is to punish people who've got a lot of shooting, like Martells and so on. We put down terrain. I'm trying to remember who put down what first. I want to say that maybe I put down a palisade, and then I think he put down a corpse pile, and then I put down another palisade, and then he put down a tree, and then I think he won the dice off for deployment, perhaps, and I think so. I don't remember. It's been a couple weeks since we played this game, so I'm gonna do my best to on the fly remember how the game played out. So yeah, I think he won the dice off because I would not have chosen this side. I think he chose first player, and I ended up taking this side down here. I deployed really, really far back. This is one of the few scenarios where shooting can actually start on the line. So I just decided to, stay further away. Or did I have... Actually, you know what? Think about it. I think he actually chose side. I think he did. The only reason why I say that is because I do remember going first, and I believe I took the sword right away. Anyway, let's talk about round one. So round one, what happened was, because it's Banners and Butchery, I know that since most of his forces were on the right flank, my right flank, I wanted to blow up the objective and redeploy it in my corner. So I believe I went first, took the sword, blew it up. And here's the thing, right? So now he gets put down an NCU, and he can go, okay, well, I'll just put it on the envelope. But I've got Tybalt, and I can say, well, I'm going to call out the envelope when you activate an NCU. And if you take the envelope, you're going to eat 2 tokens. Tokens are very important for Boltons because a lot of their cards play off tokens. Or if you don't take the zone, then I'll take the zone and give you a token anyway. On top of that, I've got Roose Bolton NCU for 5 points, who they updated to be a little more powerful. But his base ability is when you drop a token on your opponent, you can also drop another token of the same type on a unit within 12 inches. So if you take the zone that Tybalt calls out, you're essentially getting 3 tokens, which is pretty bananas. So I believe as a result, he did not take the envelope. I took the envelope, and or maybe he did. I don't really remember, but it was causing a lot of decision-making problems from the get-go. So not much happened, it looks like. I may have crown zapped this unit, I think. Or, you know what, it might have been Roose Bolton. I think now that I think about it, I think he did take the envelope anyway and just ate the tokens. And then when Roose came down eventually, he was able to do some hits to the crossbows and remove, I think, a wound there, since it's his softest unit. And I do want to fight them. Chris did a good job most of the game keeping the palisade in between us, which made it very, very hard to do that. So after round 1, you can see that not much happened. He ended up blowing up, I think, both of his objectives as well, and pushing them back in his corner. And I more or less marched forward. Now, I redeployed the knights from this side after blowing up the objective to this side over here. And I just wanted to threaten. I know that he's going to lead with the sword. I definitely went first because I knew round 2 he's going to lead with the sword. But I figured I can take a bag. I can also Tybalt the sword to discourage him from taking the sword. And a key decision that I made also was to pivot my archers around. I could have moved against the palisade to get some shots into the knights, but I felt like it was going to be a bad plan. First of all, you're not going to do a lot of damage to the knights because they have 3-up saves. Secondly, I'm going to eat a supremacy in return. And thirdly, if I'm butt up against the palisade here, which is where I'd have to be to shoot effectively, I'm not going to be in a position to support the rest of the army that's going to be fighting around the middle. So I said, I'm not going to take the shot. I'm just going to pivot and get ready to support the middle. And spoiler, that decision I felt really paid dividends down the road. Instead of being stuck behind a palisade. So that's the end of round 1. Not much happened. A little bit of chip damage. Round 2 coming up. So round 2, you'll notice that both sets of knights are gone. My Flame Men are dead, and so are Gregor Clegane in the Casterly Knights. So we just had a duel in the middle. I think he did take the sword. I took the bag. And very quickly, he said, well, before you activate the Flayed Men, I think I need to go in with the knights and just kill off your knights first. So he charged in. Despite charging over the core spell he had, I believe it's Exploit Weakness, which allowed him to spend a weakened token to gain rerolls and make me vulnerable. I played a Flaven Had No Secrets, and then he counterplotted, but tragically rolled a 1. So I believe Joffrey was on the sword, which gave him +1 because he controls the crown, but he rolled a 1, which meant that the counterplot didn't work. And as a result, because I had a Glory Seeker, he played the whole shebang. He played Hear Me Roar. I was able to survive with 2 wounds, and that allowed my Cutthroats to charge in the flank, do big damage to the knights. He then, I think, maybe shot me with the crossbows and killed off my my Flayed Men, but then my archers were in a position to shoot into combat into the flank and kill off Gregor Clegane as well. So we both lost our Knight Bricks. And you'd think that I'd be happy because that's a better trade for me. My 8-point unit plus 1-point attachment is only 9 points. That unit of his was 11 points. I've now got more power on the table, but he still has a scary army because the crossbows are fairly unassailable, and his cav are pretty much untouched, and they're circling around, and maybe they've got a route to my objective. So, and his are still very, very far away, and there's tough guardsmen in between us as well. So that's in round 2. And let's see how round 3 goes. So round 3 was a pretty big decision point for Chris as well. So basically, I believe through a combination of maybe, I think I took the horse round 3 to begin, and I just started positioning to get around his units and get to his backfield. I didn't want to charge. I didn't want to be clogged up. I wanted to get to his backfield to score the points. So very correctly, he pivoted the guardsmen to face Ramsay and set up a charge. He turned the crossbows around, and I shot into his flank. And even though they have 3+ saves, Panic Test with Vicious and a Corpse Pile did damage as well. So they're actually getting hit pretty bad. And his knights had a decision. They were around here before. He had a decision to either swing wide and threaten my objective, or push forward towards the middle and lock down my Cutthroats, because he's got round 4. He's going first next. He could have had 3 units on 1. And I think if he had pre-measured, he would have seen that even if he takes the horse, right? Did I have a way? I'm trying to think here, because my Blackguard, I remember thinking, had a way to intercept him before he got to my objective. And it's tough for the knights because the Blackguard will automatically outrank the knights and contest them from controlling any objectives. So that's the end of round 3. I'm just, again, trying to circle around and trying to get to his point. So round 4 happens, and I wonder what the sequence of play was. I do know that for sure the knight just came around, but I was in a position where, yes, he's on my point. It took him his whole movement to get there. I spun around, and I knew that I could just charge him in my turn, contest him, and he would never have a chance to actually to destroy the point. I believe a combination of shooting and maybe charging killed the guardsman. This unit is very punchy if you're not activated. They hit on 3s with lots of dice. They degrade very slowly. 7/6/4 is really pretty good for 5 points. And Steel Shanks has cards that give them Sundering and stuff. So I think between that and a shot, they were able to kill off the guardsman, which is pretty scary because guardsmen actually have good armor. And then they were able to surge forward and try and compete against Tywin. I don't know how Tywin took so much damage. I feel like this might have been the result of Roose just continuously dealing hits this unit and trying to grind them down. So that was the end of round 4. Again, even though lots of stuff has died, nothing has died to the enemy commander, and nothing has, no objectives have been blown up yet. So round 5 rolls around, and this is where the game pretty much ended. So Steelshanks charged in and dealt a lot of damage. Oh, you know what? I actually think I killed all his knights. I think I did. So the knights were not actually at full health. I think they took a wound or two from Bruce Bolton, of all things, coming down here. So then when Steelshanks activated and charged, I played his card that gave them critical blow and sundering, and he was all tokened up. I have Vicious as well. I've got Precision as well, and they just clapped off all 9 wounds in one go. Which isn't that unlikely, given the fact that the new Blackguard actually have a pretty punchy profile. So I scored a point, and that's already enough to... it's enough to win the game as long as Tywin doesn't kill the Cutthroats. So that became his only shot to win, was to actually kill off Ramsay and the Cutthroats. But we rolled it out, and I don't know if he had a weakened token. He may have. He just didn't do enough damage. And I don't even think the round ended, because I think Ramsay had a chance to charge and heal with Prey on Fear and giving out tokens and blah, blah, blah. So we decided to call it because it was clear at this point that he's not going to be able to kill me, and I'd be able to just table him at this point and call it a game there. So it was a good showing for the Boltons. I did feel bad for Chris because the charge in the flank, if he had gotten exploit weakness off on a 2+, he probably would have killed the Flayed Men, and with the surge backwards, he would have been way safer from the Cutthroats and the shooting as well. So that was a big TSM turning point for sure. I also think that the play with the Knights might have been a mistake. Coming around this way gave my Blackguard a chance to actually fight and get a point. He was never going to be able to contest this objective, it turns out. And coming up to support the Guardsmen and the Crossbows was probably the better play. But, you know, in the heat of the game, neither of us really saw that. Neither of us really considered it. It was only when afterwards you realize, oh, wait, even though you're here in my back field, it'll take your whole movement to get on top. I have time to spin around and charge you, and therefore contest you from blowing it up. So it was a really good game, really fun, and Chris was a great opponent, and we were able to actually play a game later on as well, I think a week or two later, and I did take photos. So hopefully you enjoyed the game, folks, and we will be back with more content, because we're still not done these silly swords yet. So see you soon.